Hey everybody. So, thank you guys for joining us on the Zoom and thank you everybody who's on Facebook as well. Um, I am going to get started. Our topic today is getting unstuck. How to stop avoiding the work you know you should be doing. The reason we picked this topic is because it is something that comes up on our ADHD Facebook group. It comes up on our coaching calls. It comes up on all sorts of stuff. We talk with our friends about it, all the things we know we should be doing that we just aren't. And so this is aimed at being a no holds barred, full, authentic conversation with anybody who wants to participate. I mean, obviously, there's only a few of us on the screen, but if any of you guys want to jump in, you are more than welcome. And then I'm also going to try to monitor the Facebook to see if I can see any comments for people who want to comment over there. But this is really supposed to be a let's be honest about what we're not doing and figure out ways to get around it. Because there are real things we need to do in our business to make this business work. And if we're using our shame, our hesitation, our ADHD, whatever it is as an excuse, we're not doing ourselves, you know, the service we should be. So, ready to get started? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to try to share my screen again and do my slideshow. Okay, there we go. Okay, does everybody see it? Perfect. All right, so this is getting unstuck and stop avoiding work. I know many of you guys on the screen. I'm going to introduce myself in a second, but let me just give you our topics. So, our plan for today. Here are the 6 things that, according to my coaching clients, they avoid the most: making calls, organizing their database, asking for referrals, staying in touch, following up with leads, especially old leads, and hosting events. I'm sure there are a bazillion other things that you guys avoid, as do I. But these are the top 6 for today. So, who am I? I'm a MAPS coach, obviously. I'm also a trainer and a database organization consultant. I'm a mom to 17-year-old twins that are right there in that cute little picture. I have an MBA and I'm a certified project manager. I tell you that because most of my business life has been before real estate. I spent 20 years building systems for tech companies and doing consulting in the tech world. I've been in real estate now for about 14 years, and I'm passionate about teaching realtors how to treat real estate like a business. So to me, real estate is a business. And the same things we avoid are the same things other people avoid in their businesses. Even though we have one specific industry, it's the same everywhere. And why am I speaking to you guys? 75% of my coaching clients have ADHD, and so do I. And so do my kids. And almost every member of my family. So this is real life for me too. So, all right. Whoa, this template's amazing. You guys like my slides, by the way? Okay, you want to know why they're so great? That's because I had to make it fun for myself. Because I was going to avoid doing this too. I was going to come with no slides to talk to you guys because, frankly, making a slideshow isn't the most fun thing in the world. It didn't match my income, my interest, it wasn't challenging, it wasn't exciting, it wasn't one of my interests. So I went looking, I set myself a timer for 20 minutes, and I found a really cool template that I could use. So when you feel yourself getting stuck, make it fun. So now you get to see my fun slides because this is how I made it work for myself. Okay, why do we avoid tasks? Here, according to research, are the top 6 reasons why people with ADHD avoid tasks. Task initiation is hard, right? We all know that it's hard to get started. It doesn't match our income, our interests, all of the different things we want to be doing. Emotional avoidance, and what that means is maybe you've done something very similar before and it didn't go well, or you had a negative reaction to something, and so you feel like your body is telling you don't do that. Also, perfectionism. Those of us with ADHD struggle with trying to be perfect in everything we do. Hence the really pretty template, guys. I wanted it to look awesome. Time blindness. Yeah, of course. We avoid things because we think they're going to take less time than they do, or they take less or more or whatever. We just don't manage our time wisely some of the time. And the biggest one I personally think is we don't know the why. If you don't know why you need to do something, it's really hard to convince yourself that it's important. And respectfully, I don't think just because someone says it from a big stage means we understand the why. Maybe the way Gary says it or someone else who's on stage doesn't resonate with us. And so we don't understand why it's important. They can say why it's important to them, but you have to figure out why it's important to you as well, um, so that you can convince yourself to do it. Anybody want to jump in? Any other reasons why you know you avoid tasks? Okay, no problem. If there was anything important that I missed here, one of you would have said it. So let's get started. Okay, raise your hand. How many people avoid making calls? I know some of you on this call, just saying. Okay, so if you're avoiding making calls, what are we going to do about it? Here's my really no nonsense thought for you. If you don't want to make calls, don't. Stop using it as an excuse. But you still have to talk to people and you still have to build relationships. So do something else. Okay? What can you do? You can actually text people. You can direct message them. You can come from contribution and curiosity. There's no reason why it has to be a phone call. Did any of you guys sit through, well, have the opportunity to hear Phil Jones maybe a year and a half ago, I think at Mega Camp, where he talked about the fact that most people don't want to receive phone calls? Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember all the statistics that he gave, but there was a survey done and he talked to a tons of people. And Phil Jones obviously knows what he's talking about. Um, People don't get excited when their phones ring. They look at that and go like, oh, why are they calling me? What is this about? So if you're feeling authentically like you shouldn't make a phone call, it's probably your gut telling you you probably shouldn't. So do a text instead. People are happy to communicate over text. So anytime we say, make 100 calls a week or something like that, if that's 100 text conversations you have, that still counts. Totally, right? Um, so for me, this is one of the easiest. You know you have to be talking to people. If it isn't going to be phone calls, text, direct message, go out and about, have conversations when you're at the grocery store, other places, connect with people face to face. Still try to track what you're doing. But if there's something you're seriously resisting, don't just sit there with that block holding you back. The goal here is to figure a way around it. So the why behind this is to have conversations. And if it isn't going to be on the phone, have the conversation somewhere else. The mindset shift you want to make for making calls is really, okay, again, show of hands. How many people hesitate to make calls because they think I'm going to bother somebody or nobody wants to hear from me? Yeah, okay. Pretty much most people on here, right? So, um, this is actually one of Gary's comments. I'm offering value. I'm not asking for favors. I'm letting people know I'm here and ready to help. Will it work for you every single time if you say it to yourself? No, probably not. But if you get in the habit of saying that before you start texting people or before you call, it might help just a little bit with the mindset of, I'm actually here to help. I'm not just doing this um, because I need business. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for a sec because the way this, uh, the way we set this up, guys, we were going to have two different screens going, and I was going to be able to share my screen on one and then do other things on another, but I don't think I can. So, oh well. I just had notes on other things to talk to you guys about. So I'll pop out of the presentation and then pop back in. So another easy way you can have conversations with people, social media. If you don't already do it, take 15 minutes a day to scroll through people in your sphere. Scroll through their posts and leave meaningful comments and reactions. Congratulate somebody on a new job. Comment on their vacation pictures. Ask follow-up questions about something that they're doing. It keeps you on people's radar without any salesy vibe. And they remember you're active and that you're paying attention to them. So does it count as a conversation if you just comment on someone's social media post? Probably not. Um, but what if they comment back? What if you then take that offline as a text and start talking to each other? It's absolutely a great way to get into conversation. So again, the theme here is just think about a different way to do it so that you don't hear just make some phone calls and you get stuck on that block, okay? Um, all right, going back to our slideshow. Oh, wait, you guys probably aren't even seeing it again. Sorry. Normally I would not be doing my screen. It would be hosted somewhere else, but since I'm the only one today, we're learning. Okay. If you don't want to organize your database, again, everybody love to organize their database? Yeah, no, me neither. Okay. If you don't want to organize your database, you got to know the why behind it. This is your why right here. There's $630,000 worth of GCI lurking in the average database. That means for each of you on the call, there's potentially $630,000 in money to you sitting in your database. Where do I come up with that number? The average database has about 1,500 people in it. If you are significantly lower than that, I challenge you to remember your database also includes everyone you know on social media, everybody that's in your phone. Those are all part of your database too. Your database isn't just Command or Brivity or Follow Up Boss, okay? So all of the people that you are in relationship with and that you have contact information for, that's your database. So there's all different ways of converting numbers, but I think the most recent I've seen is for every 25 people in your database, you probably can do about one deal. The average price point, 350,000, and average commission, I'm not going to say it because we don't discuss commission, right? But you guys can all guess what your own is. That multiplies out to be about $630,000 in your database. If you are not pulling that out of your database on a regular basis, it means you probably could be having more conversations with your database. And the best way to do that is to get organized. So, um, as somebody who focuses heavily on database, here's my top strategy for you. Segment your database. If you haven't already done this, and it does not have to be this segmentation strategy, I just gave you one that I know some of my clients use. Putting your database into 4 buckets: platinum, gold, silver, bronze, A, B, C, D, whatever you want to call it, right? So your platinum would include your raving fans, like people who just absolutely adore you, right? Whether they do business with you or not. These are the ones that are going to give you referrals. They're going to tell everybody how great you are. And then your repeat clients might be your platinums. Your gold might be your clients and your friends. Your just regular SOI. So these are people you know in platinum and gold. They're all your Mets, right? Your silvers might be your open house leads, your paid leads, any other leads where maybe you've had a conversation, but you don't actually know them well. And then your bronze and your database is everybody else you don't know. And it's surprising sometimes when you go through your database to see how many people you're like, huh, don't recognize the name. I have contact information, but I just have no idea where they came from. So to me, this is like the very unmet kind of group. Any questions on segmentation, stuff like this? Okay. Oh, let me go back. Oh no, I don't know how to go back. So just pretend I'm talking still about your database, okay? So for your database, segmenting your database, it's a huge pain, obviously. It takes a ton of work to do it. So if you are not doing it because it's so much work, 10 minutes a day. Export your database to a Google spreadsheet and then go through on the spreadsheet and just look at every name you recognize. Do they think I'm awesome?
Mm,
Yep. Put them as platinum. Okay. You don't have to do this in Command or somewhere else where you
mm,
have to go through one by one. Sorry, we've got some noise going on. Um, but I don't have authority to turn people on mute.
mm.
Don't know where it's coming from. Sorry, guys. Um, okay. So all you want to do is export your database to a spreadsheet. If you need advice on how to do that, my contact information will be at the end. You can absolutely reach out and I can give you instructions on how to export. Then run through your spreadsheet. I like them. I don't like them. I know them. I don't know them. Tag them all. And you've absolutely segmented your database in just a couple of hours. Then you re-upload it back to whatever database platform you're using. Okay. Who has a segmented database already? Julie, Tanya, nice jobs. Cool. Does it help? They're nodding their heads. Yes. And it helps, honestly, incredibly helps because then you can say, oh, I need to reach out to people. And you're not starting at the top, just trying to reach through, oh man, who should I reach out to today? Who should I look at? Stuff like that. What you are trying to do is you are trying to go, oh, this week I'm going to talk to all of my platinums. Okay, that's easy. I know these people. I like these people. Okay. All right. So
Is that something you can do in command?
yeah, absolutely. So you can go contact by contact, and thanks for the question. You can go contact by contact in command and just add a tag, or you can absolutely export your database. There is an export function. And you literally dump it into a spreadsheet. It formats itself into how you would re-upload it back to command. So it gives you a spreadsheet basically. And then you can add a tag column and you just add your segments as tags. And then you literally re-import it and command will add the additional information in there for you. Personally, I find that way easier than trying to go one by one, just with wait times for command to refresh and reload and stuff like that. Um, and grab my contact information at the end if you need any help. I'm going to pause just for a sec, guys. I noticed we've got a lot of stuff in the chat. Um, any comments I should know?
Exchange involves an exchange of like kind of usage.
I can't mute people.
Questions
Sorry,
about
everybody.
DPD2 in there.
Say again?
So there's a couple questions about DPD2 and if everybody's doing them. It's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
comments on like what everybody's doing, which is great.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so DTD2. Anybody doing it? Okay. The whole point of the DTD2, by the way, so I'm going to go off share. The whole point of the DTD2 is to give you a pattern to reach out to people. If you need a pattern, the DTD2 is great and you want to follow it. Does anybody follow it? I can see all your faces now. Has anybody tried? Okay. I personally don't think it works incredibly well for the ADHD brain, and maybe it's only because it doesn't work for my brain and most of my coaching clients' brains. But the reason I don't think it works is I think we are attention driven, right? Ooh, I'm excited about this now. I don't suspect I'm ever going to be excited about pulling a list of everyone with the last name J in my database and reaching out to them next week, right? So to me, don't follow that pattern then if you can't, but make a different pattern. That's the whole point of this seminar, literally, is if DTD2 doesn't work, find something else that would help you reach out to your database or organize your database. What I ended up doing for mine, honestly, was I tagged every single person in my database as update. Okay. And then I needed to update every single person. And then the first week, because I didn't know who I needed to update and who I didn't need to update, right? And then the first week, I picked 10 people. They were the 10 people I liked the best. They were the 10 easiest. They were honestly my best friends, my family, a couple of recent past clients, and I updated them. Okay. And I removed the update tag and I put the done tag on there. Okay. And so I literally just I dumped the database, I tagged every single person as update, and then when I updated them, I I made sure I had their contact info, but I didn't like spend hours tracking down their stuff. But I tagged them as which segment they were going to go in, whether I knew them or I didn't know them. And then I put done on there. I knew when I started with this and I knew when I finished, okay? So I reached out to everybody as I was doing this. So that's how I got my contacts in. So 10 people a day or whatever it ended up being. And so when my entire database had the done tag on there, I started again. I stripped out that whole tag, right? So then nobody was done because I knew everybody was. And then when I reached out to somebody, I would just add a tag of like done quarter 2, done 2025, whatever it was. And that's how I tracked who I was contacting. And when I would need to contact more people, I would go in and filter the ones that didn't have that tag. So the people that I hadn't reached out to, those were the ones that I needed to. So it wasn't officially DTD2, but it was making sure I still got to everybody in that period of time. Does that make sense? Okay. Zach had a good idea. he texts or dumps a voicemail with slide dial. So for those of you that are looking for one-way communication, slide dial is fantastic. It does not count as a contact, obviously, because you're not having a conversation, but it is a great way to remind people that you are still there. And it is a great way to get a touch in if you aren't going to have a two-way conversation. And you're not going to have a two-way conversation with everybody. So maybe you take the 100 people in your database that you don't mind texting, right? And you have two-way conversations with them. And then you look at everybody else that you've met. And if you are just groaning inside, going, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this, you slide dial, drop a voicemail. It's better than nothing. Maybe that's what I should have named this presentation. It's better than nothing. Because when you are stuck up against a wall and you're like, I can't do it, we don't do anything generally, right? So the whole point of this is we don't want you to do nothing. We want you to have a little bit of a workaround so that you can get back in the game of doing these things. And Zach's point in the message, which I really like, is yes, sometimes they call back. If you drop a voicemail on somebody with slide dial, sometimes they call back. And then you do actually have an engaging conversation. Yeah, thank you for sharing that one. That's incredibly valuable. Okay, so any other questions, comments on database before we move into referrals? Okay. So referrals. I'm guessing most people on here don't love asking for referrals. Okay, yeah, me neither. So here's the thought on asking for referrals. If it feels too salesy, change it up. Be authentic and use emotional intelligence on when and where to ask. Um, does everybody remember hearing at some point in time that in every conversation, at the end of the conversation, you should say, so who do you know that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Yeah, you're all nodding your heads. Okay, please don't do that. Okay. I don't think anybody's doing that anymore. But if you needed permission to stop feeling like you're supposed to, please take this as permission. You shouldn't be doing that. Instead, you should be your authentic self when you're talking to people and ask in a way that it would be natural. So those of you who coach with me or know me have already heard this story, so I apologize. But the way I do it, I will compliment whoever I'm talking to. An authentic compliment, something that I really like about them. Um, you and Tom really make me laugh. I like talking to you guys all the time. And I'm always looking to work with more people like you that, are fun. So if you've got fun friends, send them my way if they need a realtor. Because I can ask like that. That's a real referral request for me is I like you. I want to work with more people that I like. I know you must have friends that are cool. Send them my way. You might think of other ways of doing it, but it's always easiest if you say something nice about the person, um, or give them some reason why you would be the right choice for them, right? Um, I want to grow my network in this area. People like to help, so you can ask them if they want to help you. But in general, if you're having a conversation with somebody and it doesn't feel like an appropriate time to ask for a referral, question yourself a teeny bit like, oh, am I just hiding behind a fear, right? If you are, push. But if it's not, and you're like, boy, this just does not feel right, don't ask for a referral. If I just had a random, boring conversation with you where you just asked me, like, oh, are you ready to buy a house? And I said, no, I'm not. Thanks. And then you followed up with, okay, who do you know? I probably would hang up on you. You would probably hang up on me. So use your emotional intelligence. If you're having a great conversation and you're in rapport with somebody, ask who else they know that would want to work with you. That's a great way to do it, right? But if they don't want to talk to you, don't ask. Um, okay, we had a question in here. What do you use to send text like slide dial so your own phone number shows up? I know it's not referrals, but let's address that one. The Reach app is usually the best. Anybody have any other systems that they use for sending texts? Okay, there are multiple databases that will send for you. The Brivity database, you get a second phone number, but you can put it in your contact. I think Follow Boss does that as well. But if you just want to send text out, Reach, I think, is usually the choice most people do. Okay, any thoughts on referrals? All right. Oh, I didn't tell you this was going to be a quick one too, by the way. I don't think we're going to take the whole hour. Hope you guys don't mind. Okay. And you can probably tell I have a cold, which is probably why we're moving a little quicker. I'm super congested, so we're working through it. Okay, so if you don't want to stay in touch, so this is staying in touch after the transaction ends. How many of you guys would say you are awesome at staying in touch after a transaction ends? Julie, nice job. Okay, cool. Brittany is too. Most people aren't. Most realtors, especially realtors who have ADHD, we're on to the next exciting thing in our lives. You know, you're not front and center. I've forgotten about you. I don't mean to, but there's something else that's just pulled my attention. So this is the percentage that you need to know. At the end of a transaction, 80% of people say they'll work with their same realtor again. The sad fact of reality is only 20% do. So when asked, you know, the follow-up studies that NAR does on a regular basis, the 80% of people who don't work with the same realtor, the reasons they give is, I actually forgot who my realtor was. I've never heard from my realtor again. I don't think my realtor liked me. They never followed up. Those types of things. Okay. I don't even know if my realtor's in business anymore. That was a comment that I saw on one of those surveys. Now, let me give you another example. My father-in-law recently sold his house. He's lived in this house for 20 something years. It's a great house. It was a coup of a listing. Okay. And I had the realtor for him. I was so excited to be able to recommend someone that I actually really know, like, and trust as his realtor. He wasn't interested. You want to know why? 20 years ago, when he bought his house, the realtor that sold it to him did a good job, apparently, and has followed up with him. And my father-in-law said, "Oh, I can't. Robert sends me a newsletter every month, and he calls me on my birthday. Every one. You know, in 20 years, he's never missed my birthday. He cares. He's my realtor." Guys, it works. This is an 80-year-old man who was not going to take my advice, even though his realtor did 3 deals last year. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing 3 deals last year, but I kept trying to say, but you need an expert. You need a listing expert. This person I'm recommending, she's just amazing. Nope. He was going to stick with the guy who stayed in contact with him. So if you are not staying in contact with your database after transactions, please let that be the lesson for you, is people want to work with you again. They just don't hear from you. And I'm super guilty of this myself. Like, horribly super guilty of this. Okay, so what are you going to do? Create a smart plan that follows up for you. Don't rely on your brain to remember all your past clients, guys. Create a smart plan. And when you get back from their closing, or when you wish them good luck on heading to the closing, if you don't go, sign them up for the smart plan. That's first step, right? So everybody that's upcoming, there are smart plans already in command. There are smart plans in Brivity and Follow Boss and everywhere else that you might be. Okay. Pick one or create your own. The super simple one that I know a ton of people use is call them within a week after closing. So set a task for yourself to call within a week of closing. How's it going? How's the house? 30 days later, send a text. How's everything going? You need me for anything? Send an email a month after that. Send an email 6 months after that. Then at the end of the year, send a gift or a card. It's been a year since you bought your house. Then make sure you're following up with them at least every year on their home anniversary, right? And these are easy smart plans. These are not anything that's difficult, and it can absolutely be canned text because it is just a check-in, okay? So don't rely on your brain. Don't think you're going to remember that it's been 4 months and you need to reach out to somebody. Nobody does, okay? Um, Now, for those of you that have previous clients in there in your database and you're like, oh God, it's been 3 years and I just forgot them and I didn't follow up. Don't let that prevent you from following up. This is number 2. Act like this was always the plan. They won't know and they won't care, to be honest. Hey, Julie, it's Trish. Can you believe it's been 3 years since you bought your house? Just like I told you I would, I'm checking in on you. How's everything been going? I'm here for you if you need anything. Nobody will call you on it, and it's not disingenuous. You did tell them you were going to follow up. I know you did. We all do. And even if you didn't follow up, make this the opportunity to do it. So look in your database, check every one of your past closings, and whoever is coming up on a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is, use that as the excuse to reach out. Can you believe it's X number of years? I told you I'd be checking in with you. Here I am. Do you need any contractors? Do you need any handymen? How's the neighborhood? Yeah? Okay, I'm just checking on the um, text messages or the chat messages here. I think we're good. Okay. So, does that make sense? Just like pretend you've always been meaning to follow up with them. And the last one that was really hard for me to start doing, and I know a couple of you on here it was hard for you, but I know it has paid off, is just reach out with the I was thinking about you. Doesn't matter when it was. And I say this very seriously. Think about anybody in your life that you used to be in relationship with that you just have kind of faded out with. If that person, like, and you didn't have anything bad happen, right? If that person reached back out to you and said, hey, I was thinking about you. How's it going? What's your sense going to be? What's your feeling going to be? You're going to be happy. Yeah, I see some of you smiling and, like, oh, yeah, of course. There aren't a lot of clients out there that are going to respond with, seriously, it's been 4 years. You haven't called me? Guys, they didn't call you either. So if you reach out and say, I was thinking about you, you will be immensely surprised how many people will say, oh my God, do you know how many times I think about you? Do you know how many times I have remembered what a great time we had when you sold my house? It works. Yeah? Okay. Any questions on reaching out after the transaction? Okay, cool. All right. Let me share again. This is harder than you'd think when your brain is half involved in making sure your nose isn't running to remember how to actually share your screen. So my sincere apologies. Okay. So here we go. All right. My favorite one are the people who have 9,000 leads in their database and they get almost no business from those 9,000 because they're like, I don't even know how to follow up my old leads. I don't know what to do. I have all these people in my database and I haven't stayed in contact with them. And it would just be so inauthentic, so disingenuous if I started reaching out to them now, right? So you don't follow up with your old leads. Guys, same thing here. Smart plans. So set it and forget it. If you don't know who those people in your database are, your only goal is to re-engage. Okay? Your goal isn't to go have a big long conversation with them. Your goal is just to see if you can get a tiny fraction of those people in your database that you don't know to get back in relationship with you or to start having the first relationship. So go into command, go into wherever you are, find some old lead plan. If you happen to be in Brivity, Ben Kinney has some amazing old lead follow-up plans in there that are way more aggressive than I would be personally. But they work. And these people don't know me at all. So use the aggressive plan. I'm only talking about the old leads that you don't know. Okay. So set the plan up, forget about it. Let it work out there doing its magic, sending texts from you, sending emails from you, all of those kind of things. And then if anyone re-engages, that's when you can get in relationship with them. Okay. By the way, don't you like my presentation thingy with the little ships on there? It really makes me happy. Okay. So another way to do this, if you're looking at a database with tons of people and you just don't even know where to start, break it down into manageable groups. Okay. So you've got paid leads, you've got people from open houses, you've got people, I have no idea why they're in my database. Make 3 different smart plans for them. It can be all the same content, but the open house ones, it'll be, hey, first name, I met you at an open house ages ago. Are you interested in getting back into the market? Have you already bought a house? Whatever that smart plan is going to put for you. In the paid leads, you don't say anything like that. You just say, hey, so and so, this is Trish reaching out. Wanted to know if you have any real estate need right now. How can I be helping you? Okay. Any questions on this one? All right, I'm just checking our chat really quick. Okay. One of the best questions asked so far is, does anybody have a good newsletter to send out that doesn't take a lot of brain space to produce? Anybody on here? Okay.
Actually,
I
I
like
have
the
one.
new,
You do? I don't know who's speaking because I can't see anybody, but
Okay, I just turned on my camera.
Mindy. Yes.
Yeah. Hey there. I'm on my bike, so I just
Yeah.
had to stop. So my office has been using Scott Leroy Marketing, and I found out they have a newsletter, and all you have to do is tell them which tag or who in your database to send it to, and they send it out every month. And it's
Yeah.
already done. As long as you have your marketing profile set up, I was
Yep.
shocked. I sent it out last month.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Here's the thing with newsletters. Raise your hand. Well, no, let's not even pretend that.
Oh, can I just add one quick thing?
Please.
Only 5 people out of 2,500 or 2,000, I think, that actually got it unsubscribed.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
Mindy, who did you say that was through?
Scott Leroy.
Yeah. Scott
We
Leroy
use,
Marketing Suite.
we use it too. It's on command and we use it too. So I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there are tons of canned newsletter templates out there. And there are also, if newsletters are going to be really one of your things to engage with people, you're going to want to make it more personal, more local, stuff like that. So there's like 2 different paths, right? There's the I'm going to spend a lot of time and investment, because this is a big lead source for me. And then there's the I need to find a way to just stay connected to some of these leads. And you do a much more generic, neither of those is wrong. I have a personal newsletter story that I know I've shared with a couple of you on here. In my first couple, bless you again. In my first couple of months of real estate, I was with KW obviously, and I took Ignite, and this was when we had E-Edge, and so I did an open house, and I came back in and I told the productivity coach I did an open house. I met 10 people, and she was like, "Yeah, great. Did you sign them up for a newsletter?" I didn't know what she was talking about. So she showed me how to sign everybody up on an E-Edge newsletter. For those old timers like me, you guys remember E-Edge. It's the what we had before Command. Um, and so I set everyone up for maybe 2 months that I met on an E-Edge newsletter. And then yeah, maybe because I have ADHD, I forgot that I was doing that. And I never ever set anybody up on a newsletter ever again. And I didn't have a newsletter for years. And about 18 months after this, I swear to you, this is a true story. I got a phone call from Francesca. I don't know anyone named Francesca. And Francesca said, "Hey, Trish, it's Francesca. I met you at an open house about 18 months ago. I get all your newsletters. Um, I'm ready to think about selling some of my investment properties. Do you think you could come stop by?" And in that split second, the only thing I could think of was, you have the wrong number. I don't send out newsletters, because I had completely forgotten that 18 months ago I had signed, 60 people up for the E-Edge newsletter. But sure enough, it had gone out in my name every month for that entire time. And Francesca loved those generic Keller Williams newsletters that had my name and picture. That was the only customized thing on there. She thought I was great. And we had connected at the open house. Once I saw her in person, I realized, oh, that's who that was. But I hadn't ever followed up with her. I just signed her up for the stupid newsletters. She has to date bought and sold more real estate with me than anyone else I have ever worked with. Millions and millions of dollars. So don't discount the importance of a generic newsletter. I delete them all. I'm not a newsletter person. I don't want newsletters from any of you. Um, except for Tanya. I do actually love your newsletter. My apologies. I do have to say Tanya Bird from Atlanta has a fantastic newsletter. And I actually read hers. It's very interesting. Um, so if you have an Atlanta referral, please send that to Tanya because she does a really good job. But in general, I don't want people's newsletters. I'm not the right target audience for it. But remember, guys, even if you're not the target audience, somebody else is. Francesca is. My father-in-law is. So go grab somebody's generic thing. Don't spend 20 hours a week working on it. Yeah. Okay, questions. Yeah, Emily says if you send me your newsletter, I will unsubscribe. Yes, of course. But Emily, the whole point is this is just one part of your strategy. So you're sending newsletters out to all the people that won't unsubscribe. And are the newsletters typically about the market? Yeah. I don't think most people want to hear about the real estate market that much. So I would sprinkle in some other stuff if you can. I like recipes and funny pet memes and stuff in newsletters. If you're going to catch me, you got to have something interesting like that, or else I'm probably not going to bother personally. Okay, moving on to our, I think, last topic. Okay, hosting events. Who out there loves to host events? Yep, lots of no's. Lots of no's right there. You know why? Events are scary. Events are expensive. And if you don't have a 27-person team, sometimes it's a lot of work to do, right? So don't do them, but don't let them stop you. The point of events is getting in relationship with people and connecting with people in person so they can feel your energy, so they can see your vibe, so they get to know you better and they want to work with you. So here's my 3 thoughts: mini, personal, and local. They don't have to be big events, guys. They can be 10 people. And personal, what do you like to do? Go do things you like to do and turn those into your events. An event does not mean, by the way, Easter bunny hunt, breakfast with Santa, Christmas pictures, Thanksgiving pies. Those are the 4 that real estate agents are told to do, right? There might be a couple others. That doesn't have to be the only events you do. If you like those 4, you should absolutely do them. But if those are not the events for you, do stuff that you like to do. Do stuff that's local. Focus on your community. So here's my 3 ideas for you: breweries, yoga, and concerts. And again, in an incredibly self-serving way, it's because it's what the people I know and like do. So you like beer? Send a text out to everybody in your sphere of influence. So that would be your platinum and your gold people, right? Text them all. I'm going to be at K2 Brewery on Tuesday at 6. Stop by, say hi. That's an event. You don't even have to offer to buy them beer. You don't have to have appetizers. It's an opportunity to just hang out with people. You'd be surprised how many people might come. Do you go to yoga every Tuesday? Put that out on social media that you're at Atlas Yoga, the 9 a.m. class. And if anybody wants to come, you'll cover their first class for them. Any of your friends and family and whoever else follows you on social media. If one person shows up, it'll be great. If not, you are still going to that yoga class, right? So it's not like you're out there hosting a big event where nobody shows up. You're already going to the yoga class. Now you're getting 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people to come with you, and you're creating a mini event. Last one, concerts. This is something I actually do. Um, I live in a community that has a adorable like outdoor amphitheater for concerts. It's a small town like outside of Rochester, New York. And I love those concerts. It's like the high school marching band and the local firemen's band and our Philharmonic. And sometimes we get some like quasi local acts, but it's nothing special. But it's basically walking distance from my house. And I love to go. And my family never wants to go with me. So I go and I bring a blanket and I invite all my past clients to come with me. And sometimes I invite everybody that's in my sphere. Sometimes I put it out on social media, just come join me. And I always say what color the blanket's going to be, that I'm going to have snacks, and then I'm going to be in, the northwest corner of the field or whatever. And I always make it a really colorful blanket so somebody can see me. Um, I convinced a couple friends to go with me the first time so that I wasn't by myself sitting on a huge purple blanket. But there were 3 of us and we had a blast. The next time I did it, A couple more people came. Now it is literally like my summer event. Everybody around knows that I will be there with my purple blanket as many times as I can. And I've actually had people send me like text messages when my family goes on vacation in the summer. Hey, we brought a purple blanket. We thought of you. We sat in the same corner. And it's people that I know and people I don't even know sitting there making an event. So, guys, your events don't have to be big. They can be just stuff you want to do. Anybody have any other ideas for events that you think are amazing that we should be talking about?
Karaoke.
Karaoke. Yeah, totally. Why not? If you want to go to karaoke, invite people to come with you. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. Because the whole point is you're just trying to be in relationship with people, okay? And you're just trying to spend time and convince them that they know and like and can trust you. Okay, we have a raised hand, not Tyler.
Sorry, I just didn't want to confuse everybody.
Okay.
I'm doing one at my gym for it was supposed to be for International Women's Day, but it's gonna be for Mother's Day now. So it's gonna be like a whole big thing at the gym, and I have a couple people doing it with me. But like it's all my vibe because it's all my people that I see every day at the gym, and I'm really excited about it. But it's my vibe, not Pi
Yes.
Day, not Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It brings me joy, right? So yeah, that's what I want.
Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, I would not drive for a pie personally. But that means that with the way I view the world, I believe no one would drive for a pie, which means I cannot
people do.
practically do a pie day, right? There are some of you probably on this call that love doing pie days and your clients love it, but that would hold me back. I would feel like it was just wrong, and then I would just stop and I wouldn't do events. So if you do it your own way, yeah,
You know, the baby has gone outside.
okay, comedy shows, art shows, town events. You guys are giving all sorts of great ideas.
My
Yeah,
darling.
yeah. Okay, so event questions at all? All right. Here's your time for questions. This is my easy presentation for you on 6 things you don't want to be avoiding because you will. You'll avoid them if you don't feel like there's something you can do. So this is my little thank you slide. If you have questions, this is how you find me. Shoot me a text, send me an email. And because this is an authentic group, right? Don't call me. I won't pick up the phone. Honestly, most of us probably don't want to.